gentlemen, the following presentation is brought to you by Mr. Main Event Brian Waters and the real Dwayne Allen. The Wrestling Wrealm, the show for the intelligent wrestling fans. Off the top rope, I dwell in the wrestling realm. Like Jake stay in the snake pit and Kane be in hell. Like Taker stay in the graveyard, I'm punk in the shy. Call me Snooker cause I'm super and fly. You can hate all you want, but I'm flossing. The Miz said I'm awesome, and I'm upholding the law just like the big boss man. With Mr. Main Event Brian Waters, the real Dwayne Allen, toss you over the border like Hernandez, Mandez, pressing the stands. It's the show for the intelligent wrestling fans. Hitman like Hawk, but I'm not from Calgary. I'm all about the bill, so let that gold dust shower me, empower me like Farouk and the nation. If you don't know your history, then you should change the station. But if you do, you can cruise to YouTube / the wrestling realm. Your lessons are stale. Say the same old lines, man, you destined to fail. Like the Shockmaster or the wrestler Nails. I'm a heartbreak kid, and my bid to be champion is unmatched. Anybody step, I'm face planting them. With Mr. Main Event and the real Dwayne, you the sisters of love, we the powers of pain. You see we coming with a spear while you're monkey flipping. It's Brian Waters, Dwayne Allen, and your boy Trenton. And that's just how the story goes. That's just how the story goes. It's the Wrestling Wrealm, baby. The Wrestling Wrealm. Mr. Main Event Brian Waters, the real Dwayne Allen. And I'm your boy Trent CMG. You know what it is, baby. Let's go.
Well, let's move on. Anybody in particular you want to discuss?
I would say Edge. Edge has always caught my attention. I was always a huge Edge fan. I fell off at some point, but when Edge first came in, and you know he was a guy sitting up in the rafters with the jacket, and I thought he looked really cool. You didn't know anything about Edge except his music came on. You think you know me, and he come out to the crowd in his trench coat, and you never understood what the deal was. But I always liked what he did in the ring. Yeah. I always enjoyed his battles with Gangrel. During the Attitude Era, Edge was one of those guys where I felt like he was the most reliable mid card. And what you were saying about Razor Ramon, you got to be careful when you become that guy. Yeah. It's because they'll always keep putting the belt on you and they'll keep you there. Yeah. They say, okay, if it's not broke, let's not fix it. And you may look at it in your personal career like, hey, I want to move on. And like, no, you're great in IC title. Let's just keep you there.
No, baby, that's for somebody else.
No, baby, that's for somebody else. And Dusty Rhodes' voice. You know what I mean? But I always enjoyed his runs, even when he came back and from his I think he did something with his knee or something. No, it was his neck. He was having neck issues, and he was out for an entire year. And his battles during that time, I thought were some of the best mid carders that were out.
Especially his matches with Christian.
Absolutely, because him and Jay had so much chemistry. You know what I mean? And they could do things where they made themselves important. Like I feel bad because sometimes you see a match with at one point, like a Kofi Kingston and somebody else.
Dolph Ziggler?
No, yeah, I guess you'd even say Dolph Ziggler, almost. Early Dolph Ziggler before he sort of figured out who he was. And like you said, man, these guys really put on a great match, and that was it. You didn't really care about them because you couldn't get invested in their character because after a while, the IC title transitions to, it was for the workhorses, but there were no stories behind it. Right. Versus Edge and Christian, okay, at the time the story was the brothers chasing each other. You know what I mean? And then you add the title to the mix, it made it that much more important.
Yeah, but I was always, like I said, I was always a fan of Edge's, especially during the invasion angle. Yeah. Because it's like, okay, here come your workhorses, and here come our workhorses. You know, we're not just gonna stand for anything.
They had some of the best matches. Yeah. Yeah. I think that was one of the strongest mid cards ever at that invasion angle.
Like I said, that's a show for a different day. Cause I mean, obviously, every wrestler fan felt like they could have did it better. Yeah.
We do a show called Mid Card Mania, all the hottest mid
card Mania. How we would have did the invasion. You know, we got storyline going in the wrestling room.
I know, right?
We obviously have the ability.
I have the confidence in our creative abilities to come up with a better concept.
Yeah. You know, but back to Edge. Yeah, he had some of the best matches. Some great ladder matches, cage matches. that you really did want to see them, you know, and they didn't have a problem putting those matches on as main events on SmackDown.
Right.
You know.
They definitely, I enjoyed this feud with, I believe it's Night Storm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Chris Jericho, and just, it's just, you can't go wrong. Now that I think about it, I probably would like to see Christian on this list. I wouldn't remove anybody for him, but when I think about Christian, you know, the matches they had, they similar styles, similar but different. Mm-hmm. And the way they go into a story, the way they can captivate people and make you care about them, whether they were the main event or not, these guys made you care. Yeah. So, and I thought Edge was always one of those guys.
Now, do you have Edge higher or lower?
Where's Edge at? 14? I don't know, to be honest with you, because you have RVD at 14, do you have Edge at 15? You have Edge, you have RVD. I feel like Edge did more. Mm-hmm. So but at the same time, it's like I feel a certain obligation to the guys that were only IC title champions. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that was, even though RVD was a world champion, WWE champion, and ECW champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following presentation is brought to you by Mr. Main Event Brian Waters and the real Dwayne Alley. The Wrestling Wrealm, the show for the intelligent wrestling fans. Off the top rope, I dwell in the wrestling realm. Like Jake stay in the snake pit and Kane be in hell. Like Taker stay in the graveyard.